fractions come in a lot of shapes and forms. Some of them are very proper, and others are, quite frankly, a little improper. And I want to show you both and show you how we can go from one to the other and see exactly what all these things mean. Let's start off with a simple example. So Mary adds 9/2 cups of milk to a batter. What we want to do is we want to write 9/2 as a mixed number. Now, it turns out that 9/2 is an example of an improper fraction. That's because the numerator, the top, is actually greater than the denominator, the bottom. So when that happens, we call that an improper fraction. It means that there's a whole number part to that fraction that's just craving to get out. And our job is to see if we can release it by writing it by what's called a mixed number. So let me show you exactly how we can do this. First, just visually, and then I'll show you how we can do this in practice. So, 9/2. That's what I've got here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There are 9/2 here. That's exactly what 9/2 mean. Well, if you think about it, 1/2 plus 1/2 actually is 1. If you have a half and a half, you've got a whole. So in fact, I can split this off and say that's just 1. Split off another 2 of them, that's just 1. Split off another 2 of them, that's just 1. Split off another 2 of them, that's just 1. And you see that I've got one lone, a half, all dangling by itself. But these are all whole number ones. 1, 1, 1, 1. So what you see is I can take 9/2 and I can express it as 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 and 1/2. The way I write that is 4 and 1/2. So that is the mixed number rendition of the improper fraction 9/2, or 9/2. So one way of getting sort of the mixed number version of an improper fraction is just to sort of think about it and try to collect the whole number part just like that. There's a way of doing that that actually is a little bit more systematic, a little less visual, but more systematic, and that's just to actually long divide. So if we long divide, 9 divided by 2, what do we see? Well, we see that 2 goes into 9 4 times. 4 times 2 is 8. I subtract, I see a 1. I bring down an invisible 0. Remember, there's invisible zeros here as far as the eye can see. Bring down invisible 0.
Now, students, if you just stop here before a decimal, you get 4 1/2. The half comes from right here. It's the remainder is 1, and the denominator is 2, and so we're dividing by 2. So the answer as a remainder would be, here's your 1, which corresponds to this numerator, and the 2 comes from the number you divided by, so it's 1/2. But what we're doing right now is we're going to write 1/2 as a decimal. So here we go.
2 goes into 10 5 times. 5 times 2 is 10, and I subtract and I see a 0 remainder, so I'm done. And so I see 4.5, and of course 4.5 is the same thing as 4 1/2. And so you can see another way of getting this answer is just
here's
to
a
do
good
the division.
visual right here.
So either way is a great way to take an improper fraction and all of a sudden
2.
make it proper. Well, despite its name, sometimes we actually want to take a mixed number and convert it to an improper fraction. Maybe one of the few times in life where being improper is okay. Although I wouldn't know, I'm always improper. So let me take a look at an example and show you how we can go from a mixed number to an improper fraction. The example I want us to take a look at is to write 2 3/4 as an improper fraction. First, let's just take a look at it visually. If I take a look at a lot of fourths, and here you see that I've got a lot of fourths, right? Because I'm thinking of this as a whole, and I've divided it into 4 equal pieces. So each of these is a fourth. A fourth, a fourth, a fourth, a fourth. 4 fourths make a whole. Same thing here. A fourth, a fourth, a fourth, a fourth. A fourth, a fourth, a fourth, a fourth, and so forth. And so forth. Look at me making a fourth joke. Love it. All right. Well, you're in for a treat. Now, let's see if we can actually now express 2 3/4 in this guise. Well, 2, first of all, a fourth, a fourth, a fourth, and a fourth make one whole. So that's just one whole right there, but I need 2. So I need another copy of 4 fourths.
If you can't
So
see
there's
what
2,
Dr. Berger's doing, it's
and I
right
need
over here.
3 extra fourths. So here's 4
It's a good
fourths,
place
I
to
need
look.
3 of them. So this shaded region represents 2 and 3 fourths. Well, so how many fourths is that? Well, we can now just count the number of fourths. It's not a big deal. If we do that, we see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And we see 11 fourths. So 2 and 3 fourths is equal to 11 fourths. Notice that's an improper fraction because the numerator actually exceeds the denominator, but it's actually an equivalent number to this mixed number. So 11 fourths is the improper fraction equivalent to this mixed number. And you can see it. There's the 2 and 3 fourths. So that's one way, is to visualize it. Another way is to actually perform a little trick that I want to show you right now, which I think you might enjoy. So here's a numerical way of producing the answer. What you do is you take the whole number part and you multiply it by the denominator. And then you just add the old numerator and divide it by the old denominator. That will always work. Let's see if it works here. 2 times 4 is 8, 9, 10, 11. Voila. We get the same answer. So the sneaky way of doing it is...
Notice that the denominator stays the same. So the 4 is always going to be on the bottom. And this is called, don't forget, this is called an algorithm. This is just the process of how to do the work without a picture. 2 times 4 plus 3 is 11 over 4.
Take the whole number part, multiply it by the denominator, and then take that product and add the numerator. That becomes your new numerator, and you divide it over the original denominator, and you're all set to go. That's how to take a mixed number and convert it into an improper fraction. Being able to go back and forth is going to be really important, and it's worth practicing now so that when we think about deeper issues, we're really fluent in speaking the language of improper fractions or even mixed numbers. I'll see you soon.